right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our post-race coverage. Hope I have you guys here. See if there's updates. Good to see you guys. We had almost 300 people at the end of our post-race coverage. Huge win for Christopher Bell there. Christopher Bell started off the year really hot and really fell off throughout the summer stretch, but here he is back in victory lane. I think Bob Pockris, I believe it was him, he picked Bell to win, and he did pretty well there. Made him look really good. Luke says he can't watch the race because of NASCAR. Yeah, it's definitely hard to keep up. All right, let me get my Google Voice pulled open. All right, let's go back through our race. We're going to recap the race here. And then hopefully we'll get the points here for you guys shortly. All right, green flag waves here in the Bristol night race. And to start the race, we really weren't sure how the car was going to perform. In practice, there really wasn't a ton of fall off. I don't think Bowman, he already has a 2-year extension at Hendrick. He's not going to Spire. I hate seeing those rumors pop up, but every time Bowman struggles or every time a different Chevy driver is doing well, the rumors pop back up. But back to this, AJ Allmendinger leads them off. And on lap 25, this was pretty crazy to me. This shows how rapidly the tires were falling off. AJ Allmendinger pits due to right side tire issues. So he lost a ton of positions, had to come down pit road, and had to fight his way back from there. And then on lap 80, our first caution, Josh Berry off track for a fire under his right front from the tire buildup. So this was pretty crazy seeing this car catch fire. And one thing that I brought up during our race coverage is these next-gen cars, the composite bodies can just catch on fire, unlike the sheet metal. So when the fire starts, it's very important for them to hit it with a almost said flamethrower, a fire extinguisher. Yeah, doom and gloom. Yeah, I agree about the crew chief. Right. If for Bowman, if Darlington or Gateway went better, it would have been a completely different season. But yeah, we have our Josh Berry fire. This pretty much all but eliminates Josh Berry from the playoffs. He was already, I think, dead last. And, you know, other than his one win this season, it really wasn't a good year. Really disappointing for Josh Berry. It's not the performance that Josh Berry and the Wood brothers were looking for. I honestly thought he might do well today, maybe even have a chance to win, because he is a good short track racer. And Darlington, Gateway, and Bristol should have been his best round. And, you know, first lap of Darlington crashes. Gateway didn't really go better. And then here we go with Bristol. Rough. And on lap 1, let's see. I guess, I forget when this happened, but yeah. Alex Bowman did end up spinning. I forget which lap this was. I don't have it written down. Bowman ends up spinning. He's crowded down the track by Riley Herbst. Absolute garbage driver, Riley Herbst is. He never really succeeded that much in Xfinity. And because he's a paid driver and his parents paid for his charter, he's in the Cup Series, and we have to put up with this clown every week taking up a spot. oftentimes I forget Riley Herbst exists. He's, you know, he just runs so poorly week after week. When I think of 2311, I think of the 45 and the 23. I don't think of the 35. I see him out on track and I'm like, oh goodness, yeah, he exists. But that's how it goes. And on, let's see if we have our stage 1 finish here. We do not have a replay of it, but our stage 1 finish was really cool. Ryan Blaney ended up running down Ty Gibbs at the end of stage 1. And they came to the line pretty much side by side, but Blaney was able to edge ahead and take the stage 1 victory. So at this point in the race, you know, Ty Gibbs was running really well. One of his best runs, if not his best run of the year at this time in the race. He was definitely performing well, but Blaney was able to run him down. So it seemed like Blaney had the best car in the field, especially putting up with all the tire wear that was going on. So they restart, and then on lap 147, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Michael McDowell and Eric Jones all get together, end up spinning and bringing out the caution. Oh yeah, here's a replay of our stage 1 finish here. Absolutely crazy finish. Like, that's wild. You know, second to last lap, gets even with him. And then on this last lap, able to pull ahead on the high side. This was extremely impressive. Blaney was actually able to make this work on the high side, probably because Suarez was there. But I mean, that's just racecraft by Blaney. His 7th stage win of the season. That's good stuff. Good racing. And this is our next incident, our caution on lap 147. So Eric Jones going around, McDowell also going around, and they pretty much all avoid major damage. Stenhouse had a little scuff on the left front, but other than that, not really that bad of damage. So not bad. Then our next caution for incident is on lap 238. SVG around. So before this, when we were watching live, we saw SVG go way up the track. And I'm like, okay, the broadcast is going to talk about this. I didn't know who it was. I saw an orangish car. Thought it might have been Priest. It might have been Stenhouse again. And then finally, he ends up going around, revealing he was the one that got up the track. He just got up into the higher groove and couldn't make it stick, and eventually ended up losing it. But just like 2 laps before this, he almost crashed. So SVG was already on thin ice. Horrible playoffs for SVG. He came into the playoffs with a huge cushion and just ended up sucking completely. Before we get any further, let me pull up the NASCAR results. I want to look at our stage 1 results before we move on too deep in the race. Let's look at our stage 1 results here. So Ryan Blaney taking the stage victory, the 10 points, his 7th stage win of the year. Ty Gibbs 2nd. William Byron 3rd. That's the best any Hendrick car really ran all day, outside of Bowman in a couple instances, but definitely the best finish there. Bubba Wallace 4th, Zane Smith 5th, Chris Buescher 6th, AJ Allmendinger 7th, Brad Keselowski 8th, 9th, John Hunter Nemechek, and 10th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, I think with just a few laps to go, I forget what happened. I believe Bowman gave up stage points there, and that kind of decided what took him out of the playoffs. If he had stayed out here at stage 1, I believe he would have earned stage points. It may have hurt him going into stage 2, but still, he needed more stage points. Wade Banks said his driver Bell won. Well, congratulations to our Bell fans. Congratulations. And let's look up Bell, our eventual race winner, 19th in stage 1. Busch 20th. Bowman back here in 27th. I mean, even just a better finish, a slightly better finish, he points his way in over Austin Cindric. Yeah, it's rough for Bowman. Last year was really rough. You know, DQ'd because of a ballast issue because he hit that curb super hard. Yeah, rough stuff. And then on lap 250, Ty Gibbs ends up taking stage 2. So like stage 1, we had Blaney and Ty Gibbs going for it. At the end of stage 2, it was also Blaney and Ty Gibbs, but Ty Gibbs taking the top position in stage 2. And with that, Ryan Blaney locked himself in. A lot of drivers throughout the race were locking themselves in on points. And Goodyear made the call to allow the teams one additional set of tires. Good call by Goodyear. I'm glad they were prepared for this possibility. And honestly, it was a good tire they brought. It created a fun race, but I'm a little worried that the race being good or not is completely on Goodyear. It shouldn't be that way. Beer 30 said if he was SVG, he would hang out at a short track and try something local just for funsies. He actually does that. He's been racing legend cars, so he's trying to get better at ovals, trying to learn racecraft on ovals, and I think he's doing it the right way, but it may be one of the cases of old dog, new tricks. Even though he's definitely a world-class driver on the road course, I don't know if the oval skills are going to come along. Juan Pablo was really good, and you know, he didn't really find success on ovals. Even Allmendinger isn't the most successful guy on ovals, and he's a good road course racer. Maybe not to the level of SVG, but I think you guys get my point. But on that topic, SVG did win one of those legend car races maybe about a month ago, so he's trying. Why does Ty Gibbs look 12? Well, I think he's 13, but close. Close. And then, let's see. I guess we don't have a replay of this. But after stage 2, SVG ended up spinning again. Ty Dillon got into the back of him, shot him up the track, and SVG once again went around. So it was a terrible race for SVG overall. But let's look at our stage 2 results before we move on. Ty Gibbs taking the top spot, getting the 10 points, even though not going to do him any good. Ryan Blaney in second position. Alex Bowman third, tying his teammate William Byron for highest finish in a stage. Fourth, Brad Keselowski. Fifth, Carson Hocevar. Sixth, Austin Cindric. Seventh, Chris Buescher. Eighth, Bubba Wallace. Ninth, Zane Smith. And 10th, Denny Hamlin, which is kind of the best we saw him run all day. Denny Hamlin has the second highest average finish of any driver at Bristol. So I was kind of shocked to see him perform as poorly as he did. And let's look through our eventual race winner, finishing 12th. Chase Briscoe, a guy that led a ton of laps today, 11th. 18th and 19th, two Hendrick guys. Our Spire cars, AJ, who started on the pole. And then Kyle Larson had a terrible, no good, rotten day. Just awful. Not as bad as Shane Van Gisbergen, but, you know, close. For how well he should be performing. And then lap 281. I believe we have this caution here. Cole Custer, he ends up spinning, and eventually this does break his right rear toe link. So he wasn't able to really get to pit road very well. And on lap 294... let's see. So they're missing the Noah Gragson caution and the they're missing that one on here. So we don't have a replay of that. But Noah Gragson did end up bringing out a caution. And then on lap 311, Chase Elliott was spun by John Hunter Nemechek. You actually see the onboard here. So not the best camera angle here. I like this camera angle quite a bit. Let's take a look at this one. So actually see the onboard of Chase Elliott. John Hunter Nemechek just had a huge run, and he may have been trying to back it down, but Denny Hamlin, right when they're bumper to bumper, Hamlin gets into the back of him, and that may have been what kicked off this wreck. It's hard to tell from this angle whether or not they had already made contact before Hamlin got there. I wish they'd released a different camera angle. Denny Hamlin said, you looked up Ty Gibbs' age. It said, do you really want to find the name of a kid named Ty Gibbs? You press yes, and it said Ty Gibbs is a 7-year-old grandfather is Joe Gibbs. Interesting. Wade Banks says Bell's going to win the championship this year because he was robbed last year. That's the fault of the gimmick format we have. But yeah, Elliott ending his day. Luckily, he had pointed his way in. But at one point in the race, it was undetermined whether or not he would stay in the playoffs. Because if Bowman had won as they were running after Elliott's wreck, Elliott would have been the first car out. Our top pointing car of the season up until this race would have been eliminated from the playoffs. That is crazy. We'll look at the Winston Cup standings here soon. And then let's see when this one comes out. Lap 354, Bubba Wallace ends up getting into Stenhouse. Now, this wasn't completely on Wallace. His tires were shot. He was falling back through the field. This just looks like a racing deal to me. And Bubba apologized immediately. I find that to be a good thing. I hate when drivers deny and like, oh, I need to look at a replay, or they try to blame someone else. You know, he took responsibility for the incident. Once again, Stenhouse around. So Stenhouse had a lot of trouble throughout the race and just scrapped all night long. And then on lap 364, we only made it 10 laps between these cautions. Oh, do we not have a replay of... Oh, I think we just had a huge update. On lap 354, or lap 364, Larson and Suarez, I don't think they uploaded a replay of this, but Larson and Suarez got into each other, and it ended up taking out Larson. He broke his toe link and was somehow able to make it to pit road, and the race was able to continue. I don't believe we have a replay of that. But yeah, Larson ended up bringing out the yellow. Just a continuation of his horrible day. Luckily, he had enough points, was able to point his way into the next round, and hopefully they can reset. Just Larson hasn't been his usual self since he ran that Indy double. He's just been horrible. Even his good days are just, you know, eh. So unfortunate for Larson. A lot of people had Larson picked. He does have the highest average finish of any driver at Bristol in the next gen car, and you know, just laid a goose egg today. And then on lap 384, we have this incident. Denny Hamlin loses his right front on track, ends up really damaging AJ Allmendinger, who had a great start to the race but fell off throughout the day, and definitely took Denny out of it. Not that he was really ever competitive. And then this also had the side effect of William Byron getting a ton of front-end damage. So this definitely changed the outcome towards the end of the race. The finish probably would have been a lot different had the caution not have come out. Brad probably wins the race. So restarting. Oh yeah, this was crazy. So Ty Gibbs on this, one of the last runs, wasn't able to make it down back to pit road. He was in control of the race and just not able to get on the pit road. So ended up taking him out. Rough stuff. And at the end, Brad Keselowski, not able to close in, went for the bump and run, the Hail Mary, and this next-gen car is just so stable. It didn't go anywhere. It hurt Brad more than it hurt Christopher Bell. Really, pretty much the only chance he had was to hit him way harder than he did, or to left hook him. You know, rattle his cage. I don't know, you have to tell me, Denny Hamlin fan. JK Speed said, cracky snort house. Picasso DeMello said, Blaney was a beast tonight. He definitely ran a competitive race for a lot of it. It's just, it was a wild strategy with how the tire fall off was. All right, let's go ahead and look at our race results. We'll talk about each of these guys' days if we haven't already gotten into it. So Christopher Bell, honestly, kind of worked his way up through strategy in that final stage and put himself in position to get this win. He didn't really have the dominant car today. He didn't have the fastest car at the end of the race, but right place, right time. And on that restart, he had guys with older tires in front of him. And I said there was a chance that he gets into the back of the 38, pushes him into the 77, and clears his way to the win. And that is exactly what happened. I called it bar for bar. And but I mean, I think a lot of people probably could have seen that coming a mile away. Earning 40 points. Brad Keselowski finishing in second with 45 points. Great day for Brad, coming up just short. Without that last caution, Brad probably wins the race. And even with that caution, you know, if this was any other race car, if this was the Xfinity car, if this was ARCA, you know, if this was the old Gen 6 car, Brad's able to hit the bump and run there and get the win. Zane Smith in third. Great day. Fantastic day for Zane Smith. Not just on luck, not just on strategy. On speed, Zane Smith finishes third. Ryan Blaney, very consistent day. Wins stage 1, second in stage 2, and fourth on stage 3. So great day. A lot of Fords up towards the front. Not a great day if you're a Chevy fan. Corey Heim, amazing finish. Amazing finish. Actually, our highest finishing 2311 car. How about that? In the 67. So if you're up to date on that, you know what that means. Carson Hocevar had speed at times. At times, he really fell off. So he was definitely pushing it to the limits. Didn't cause a lot of chaos today. So kind of a quiet but decent day for Hocevar. Bowman coming up short on that last restart. Restarted, I believe, third on the outside, I believe. Not able to make his way up through the field. Falling back with Hocevar. So back to 8th and just missing out on the playoffs. If Gateway had gone better, if Darlington had gone better, either one of those races, that's how the playoffs are, you know. Just the smallest thing can take you out. If either of those races went differently, if his pit crew wasn't functionally brain dead, Bowman would be in the playoffs right now. Chase Briscoe, 9th. He started, I believe, 31st. Terrible starting position. I didn't know what happened to his car in qualifying. Maybe it was just set up in race trim and it wasn't really ready to run that fast lap. But he worked his way up through the field several times. He was the last car on the lead lap, and he held on just enough to work his way into the lead. He led a ton of this race. Ty Gibbs also leading a ton of the race. Ended up probably losing the race because of not being able to get down pit road. Yeah, Reddit does hate, if you're talking about Gibbs, they do hate him. The Digital Gas House gave Bowman's overall season an easy F. Well, I mean, it's a better season than most. He's an above average driver for sure. I think his equipment, I don't know if he's getting the best equipment at Hendrick, but his crew chief definitely isn't the best at Hendrick, that's for sure. And maybe where they're coming from is if you're in Hendrick equipment, you're expected to be a championship contender. And, you know, he just missed out. Corey Heim Corey Heim, you know, great day for Corey Heim. But Chase Briscoe, you know, he finished first in our first playoff race, finished second last week, and then this week 9th. So he is having a very good, very consistent playoff run. And honestly, this is probably going to be his best round. Like, he might be able to turn it up and, you know, make hay later in the playoffs as well, especially in the round with Martinsville and then eventually going to Phoenix if he can do well enough at Martinsville. Chase Briscoe, he excels at these shorter tracks with a lot of braking. And so, you know, this may have been his golden round, or maybe he's just adapting to these JGR cars finally. But as they run in the Winston Cup points, he may have just taken the points lead. So if this was full season points, Briscoe's possibly your champion. But great recovery, you know, worked his way forward, able to, you know, get a top 10 finish. Ty Gibbs, one of his better runs of the year, even with that accident, trying to get to pit road, not able to get down. Ricardo said good race. I agree, it was pretty good. And then Bowman, Elliott have had injuries, mid-crew chiefs, bad luck. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, horrible luck. When Bowman got that injury that sidelined him, he was leading the points. So, you know, who knows what could have happened. 11th, Chris Buescher. He ran towards the top 10 occasionally. Good to see him run well It is a shame that all the RFK cars missed the playoffs, but it does seem like that team's coming around, and they've been on the upswing. Byron, even with the damage he sustained from Denny Hamlin, able to finish P12. So not a great day. Hendrick overall just needs to step it up if they want to be taken seriously in these playoffs. They can't keep coasting by on the points they've built up during the regular season. SVG can tell you all about that. Justin Haley, 13th. One of his better finishes this season, if not his best. That 7 car is cursed. I'm convinced of it. 15th, Tyler Reddick. 16th, Kyle Busch. Kyle getting a better finish than he probably deserved there. Michael McDowell, 17th. 18th, Riley Herbst. Shocked to see him running that far forward. Ross Chastain, 19th. Eric Jones, 20th. Ryan Preece, 21st. 22nd, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. After getting cleared out multiple times, 22nd is a pretty good finish for him. Noah Gragson, 23rd. 24th, Todd Gilliland. 25th, Austin Hill. 26th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 27th, Ty Dillon. 28th, Austin Dillon. So Ty once again outperforming Austin. Ty is the better Dillon brother. I'll die on that hill. Cody Ware, the GOAT, finishing 29th. Austin Cindric, 30th. 31st, Denny Hamlin. 32nd, Kyle Larson. 33rd, Cole Custer. 34th, Bubba Wallace. He ran better than that. Definitely not representative of his day. Chad Fincham, 35th. AJ Allmendinger with the fastest lap. Xfinity fastest lap. Finishing 36th. Daniel Suarez, 37th. Chase Elliott, 38th. And Josh Berry finishing dead last. Horrible playoffs for him. 39th. So that's a look at our results. Let's go back and let's just look at, we'll just pull up NASCAR Twitter. Oh no, let's actually see if we can find the playoff picture. Come on, come on, come on. I always have to wait for someone to upload this. All right, let's look at our Winston Cup points. We're going to go ahead and switch it to the playoff picture, even though this isn't a look at our actual playoffs. Oh my goodness. This has got to be old. Yes, this is old. I was like, what? Okay, let's look at this account and see if they've updated their stuff yet. Yes, 21 minutes ago, Chase Briscoe, that's what I thought, takes over the points lead. This looks normal. Chase Briscoe would be our points leader if this was the old Latford Winston Cup point system. Chase Briscoe is our points leader. Chase Elliott dropping 2 positions. He was the points leader. Huge swing in the points here. Christopher Bell, 2nd. Chase Elliott, 3rd. William Byron, 4th. Bowman completely dropping out of the top 10. I'm not sure if he was even in the top 10 last week, but I think he was close. Denny dropping a position. Kyle Larson dropping 2 positions. But really, I mean, even 8th onward, still have a shot at this point in the year, depending on how the points fall. But definitely, you know, the top 5 right there. So, I mean, NASCAR says they don't want to go back to a season-long format because you may have the championship wrapped up a few races in. With this next-gen car, it's hard to stay hot. It's hard to stay on top and get 7 wins a season. We haven't really seen much of that with the next-gen car. So maybe they should go back to this. Maybe they should consider going back to the old Latford system, but giving 5 bonus points to the winner. That way winning means more. Do 10, do 20. I don't care. The account, it's a great account to follow, by the way. If you guys are on Twitter or on X, here you go. NASCAR Winston Cup Series standings. They post this every week, and it keeps you updated on the alternate possibility of what we could have if the playoffs didn't exist. So Bowman in 11th. So even under the Winston Cup points format, Bowman would have made it into the round of 12 technically if there was eliminations. 448 points back, fitting for the 48 car. All right, let's see if we can get the actual playoff picture. It's hard to find this sometimes. So here's our actual points. Under the current 2025 scoring, if they hadn't have reset the points. So William Byron would be leading the points by two single points, just a couple points. And Christopher Bell only back 47. Martin, what? This is from last year, isn't it? This is from 2 years ago. Golly. Why are these the top results for NASCAR standings? They're killing me here. All right, maybe if we spell NASCAR right. Come on. All right, here we go. Xfinity Racing coming through clutch. This is a great account to follow too. They are up to date most of the time. So first we have, oh, it's, let me make sure this is not old. Okay, it says this is today. Okay. Denny Hamlin, so the points will have reset. So no one's locked into this next round anymore. Denny Hamlin first, 26 points up. Kyle Larson second, William Byron third, Christopher Bell fourth, Ryan Blaney fifth, Chase Briscoe sixth with 10 points of a cushion to the cut line. Chase Elliott 5 points cushion to the cut line, and Bubba Wallace 1 point ahead of the cut line. In ninth, we have Austin Cindric, who barely scraped by here. Ross Chastain also doing the bare minimum to get into the next round. 10th, 2 points below the cut line. Joey Logano 2 points below the cut line, and Tyler Reddick 3 points below the cut line. So this is a look at our playoff picture. The Hendrick guys need to run better. They definitely need to run better. The Penske cars are running well. Bell looks like he's getting hotter. Denny Hamlin's not a great day for him. We'll see if he can rebound next week. Other than that, guys, let's see what people are just saying on NASCAR Twitter. Probably nothing good. Christopher Bell giving tribute to Charlie Kirk after winning the Bristol night race. How about that? That's going to be huge with a lot of people. Honored them pre-race as well. NASCAR Twitter not going to like that. They can shove it. Mario's a fun follow. A lot about Charlie Kirk. I'm just trying to see stuff about the race. Michael, a big NASCAR YouTuber. It's funny that these are the extremes Goodyear has to go to get NASCAR's next gen to pass on a short track. It's exactly what we've been talking about. Exactly what we've been talking about. That's what the latest is. Not much more going on there. All right, guys, we're going to get to our call-in portion. I'll give you guys a few minutes to call in, and we'll just look for different NASCAR stories in the meantime. So if you guys want to call in, you can join our Discord. And you can message me over there that you would like to call in. I'll give you guys a call. Or you can call us at the number on screen, 615-671-9343. So you can call in and share your thoughts if anyone wants to.
Ready? Here's the putter.
If you guys are interested, feel free to call in here.
After trailing a putt about 35 feet on the previous hole, facing the same length. First birdie attempt here at the 9.
If not, we'll wrap things up here shortly. Let's go ahead and look at J-Ski and see if they have any further information or any other stories.
Wasn't a million miles off. Good
before we close out here.
Scott Vincent, simple tap in.
And in the meantime, we'll just wait. If anyone wants to call in, now is your time. I'll give you guys a minute or two to share your thoughts. So next week, looking forward to next week, we have New Hampshire Motor Speedway,
out of your hands.
Sunday the 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Without a bogey, making the
On Saturday, we'll have the Kansas Lottery 300. That's next Saturday.
Look at him this afternoon.
Saturday after next, I should say. Saturday the 27th.
Just a fraction high.
And then on Saturday the 20th, We'll have the Team EJP 175
4 victories in his career.
at noon Eastern. So very quick. That'll be our Craftsman Truck Series race. So we have, looks like we have 1 week off for Xfinity. Next week we do have a truck race and a cup race at New Hampshire. So we'll see how that goes.
A decent spot to be putting from.
Next week the race will also be on USA. So same channel as today. So if you weren't able to get that channel today, you have a week to figure it out, where you can find an alternate broadcast. One thing I like to do is just follow along with MRN if I'm not able to get the race.
Oh, game on, Kazuki Higa. Vincent and Richard Lee, 16 under, but Higa.
Yeah, feel free to call in.
This difficult par 4.
No, several of you have already joined the Discord.
Such a nice
I don't
feeling.
see any
Hit a putt.
chatter over
You know
there.
it's tracking
But if you want to call in to our
the middle.
phone number, 615-671-9343. That's 615-671-9343. Yeah, that's a pretty good number.
There's a reason these three are in your final group on Sunday afternoon.
Oh, dude. Okay, let's see what the drivers' walkout songs were. Okay, this is awesome. I love looking at this.
Front nine for this three.
Okay, this is their walkout music. Why is... I hope that wasn't causing any feedback. What was causing the sound? I'm sorry about that. I don't know how long that was going on. That is really odd. I'm not sure where that was coming from. Anyway, back to coverage. The driver introduction songs, that's also like that's usually one of my favorite parts of the pageantry around the Bristol night race. Why I think of it as a crown jewel. I'm glad this race was good enough to live up to that expectation. AJ Allmendinger, Here Comes the Boom by Nelly. Christopher Bell, missing an L there. It's My Life by Bon Jovi. Ryan Blaney, One Last Breath by ATL Lions. That's funny. Alex Bowman, War Pigs by Black Sabbath. Chris Buescher, Tom's Diner. So the drivers get to pick their own song for the walkout at Bristol. It's so cool. Austin Cindric usually picks a really funny one, so I already see what it is down below. Chris Buescher, Tom's Diner. Kyle Busch, Ice Cream Paint Job. William Byron, My King by Shabuzi. Chase Briscoe, Take Me to the Top, Motley Crue. Ross Chastain, Hearts and Horses, Jordan Mallory. Austin Cindric, the GOAT of walkout songs. Goofy Goober Rock, SpongeBob SquarePants. Cole Custer, Say It Ain't So, Weezer, another good pick. Ty Dillon, The Vision, Seth freaking Rollins. That's neat enough, I guess. Ty Dillon, you know, I guess he's a wrestling fan. Pretty neat. Austin Dillon, Cinderella Man by Eminem. Chase Elliott, Way Too High by Muscadine Bloodline. Chad Fincham, My House by Flo Rida. As a hippie, how do you call and watch at the same time? You would have to use a separate device. But it's just, that's a normal cell phone number. So it's linked to our Google Voice account. You can give that a call on any calling service. You could also use a Google Voice account on a computer if you have one at your disposal or a tablet. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. Right at that number or on our Discord. And Ty Gibbs, A-OK. Not familiar with that artist. Todd Gillen, Father Stretch My Hands Part 1 by Kanye West. Interesting choice there, especially given Kanye's history. Noah Gregson, The Mockingbird and the Crow by Hardy. Corey Haim, Rollin' by Limp Bizkit. That's pretty cool. Who's out after the race tonight? Let's go back and see if we can find that for you. I can probably just do it by memory. Barry's out. Bowman's out. SVG's out, and Dylan's out. So that's the four that are out. Austin Cindric was the last one in, barely squeaking by. So now we have the round of 12 set. Yeah, there we go. Got that memory. Got it locked in. Now Corey Haim rolling. That's a good pick, a fun pick. Justin Haley, Monster versus Angel. Denny Hamlin, Law and Order theme. Really? That's what he went with? What? Oh my goodness. Is that a reference to the lawsuit? It has to be. That is hilarious. If that's what he was intending. Oh my goodness. Riley Herbst, sorry for the wait. I'm sorry that you're driving in the Cup Series, Riley Herbst. You should still be in the Xfinity at the best. Yeah, for sure, Danny Boom. Good to see you. Always good to hear from you guys in the chat. Austin Hill, what do you think about that? By Montgomery Gentry. Carson, host of our Ride the Dente Phillies commercial. Great intro song. Eric Jones, We Bring the Boom. AJ and Big Justice. Where's Chase in the standings? We'll actually pull that up for you. If I can find it once more. We just had it pulled up. Oh, here we go. We do have a call in, so let's hear it.
The US Open.
Hello.
To accept, press
Hopefully you're
1.
live on air.
To
Let's see if
send a
this works.
voicemail, Press 2.
Scott Vincent qualified to get into this year's US Open at Oakmont. Did so in Japan. Week after International
All right.
Series Japan. Unfortunately, he did miss the halfway cut there. But
I don't know where the audio's coming from. Oh, is there still a separate page open? I'm so sorry. If you'd like to give that another shot, maybe we can get that to work. First time we've used this Google Voice account, so a little odd. We were getting some feedback that wasn't from the tab I selected. But yeah, if you'd like to try to call back, feel free. I hate that we missed your call. Let's go back, try to find our point standings. Here we go. Chase Elliott is 5 points above the cut line, 7th in the standings. I'm sorry, Mr. Call. I guess that was probably Beer 30. I'm so sorry. I had some, random background audio coming through. I had it earlier in the stream coming through. Very unfortunate. Hopefully we have that straightened out now. So back to our driver intros. And if you want to call back, we'll try to get you on air this time. Where were we? Oh yeah, Eric Jones, We Bring the Boom. Brad Keselowski, Shine by Collective Soul. Joey Logano, I Don't Care by Fallout Boy. Fallout Boy, like his hair did before the transplant. Good reference. Solid reference there, Joey. Michael McDowell, Victory Lap by Tadashi. John Hunter Nemechek, Lonely Road by Machine Gun Kelly and Jelly Roll. Ryan Priest, Flirting with a Disaster by Molly Hatchet. He's a man of culture. If you guys are familiar with the NASCAR video games, you know about that. Tyler Reddick, Enemy by Seven Dust. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Summertime Blues by Alan Jackson. Zane Smith, Ambitions as a Rider by Tupac. SVG, Not Many by Scribe. Daniel Suarez, Danza Kuduro by Don Omar. Not familiar. Bubba Wallace, Bad Biff For Ya, clean version by Glorilla. And Cody Ware, bringing up the rear, Hugs by Pale Dusk. Yeah, Michael, you were right. Michael, I'm glad to hear from you. Yes, the right side tires did wear exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. The Republic said that was for Charlie. Yeah, it was good to see the pre-race dedication during the flyover, and Christopher Bell giving him a shout out there at the end of the race. And then the RCR cars had the decals on there. That's definitely going to upset some people. But if that is upsetting to you, you might need to look in the mirror and do some self-reflection, because, you know, I don't care what you say, unless you're making a direct threat on someone's life, you know, immediately, person to person, there aren't any words that could call for being shot. There's not a thing you could say. All right, we're once again getting a call. Let's see if it works this time, guys.
Call from
Philip.
Hey,
230.
hey.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, you are live on air.
Hey, I just want to say you guys have a great channel, and I appreciate your content.
Oh, thank you so much. Any thoughts on today's race, or any predictions for how the next round might go?
I think it was a great race. It went better than expected. You know, we were, expecting just a train of cars. I think there was good passing. It was a good race.
I definitely was glad they stayed to the bottom groove, because once that top line comes in over against the PJ1, it's hard to pass somebody when they're running the top competitively. So, yeah, I think Goodyear nailed it. The car did, the tire did absolutely disintegrate, but it did produce some good racing, and I was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was glad to see they did put that 2 feet of PJ1 down there and made it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely crazy. And do you have a prediction for who might win the championship?
Hard to say. What do we got next week? Yeah.
New Hampshire.
Yep. Well, Bell's in there. It's probably going to be Bell up there.
He's been looking stronger these last few weeks.
Yep. He's coming around. He always comes around in the end. And then, yeah. So, yeah, probably Bell up in there, and Larson, too.
Yeah, we'll see if he can rebound. That Hendrick as a whole needs to rebound next week. They've had a few bad weeks.
Man, it's been rough.
Bowman had a shot there,
it's up and down too. Like, some of these other mid teams are like starting to kind of level up a little bit. Finally, your John Hunter Nemecheks and them guys are starting to kind of get up there. But I mean, championship wise, it's different. But we do got some of these spoilers that are coming in here now, right?
Yeah, it is actually.
You never know.
You bring up a really good point there. Like, Legacy has been running better, and RFK is on the upswing, and, maybe Spiral will get it together eventually. So it's really cool seeing these different kind of mid-pack teams finally actually making some waves. They don't have the wins to show for it, but they are running a lot better.
Yeah, and it was great. I was like John Hunter Nemechek the last couple of weeks, and then tonight I was like, come on, man, let's go,
Yeah,
it's good to see these underdogs.
I agree. I'm not a big supporter of the Toyotas. I drive one. I also drive a Chevy. I don't support them in the Cup Series, but they have some likable drivers. I think Briscoe's a good enough guy. Bell, John Hunter Nemechek, Eric Jones. Those guys I think are the future of the sport. Especially Bell. He's going to be around for a long time, and probably.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yep. But no, absolutely, man. And hey, I just want to say you have a great channel, and I love your graphics, and your whole channel is awesome.
Thank you so much. I definitely appreciate it. We've been working on it, and I love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Have a good night.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, bye.
All right. Great call there. Great call. Love to hear from you guys. If anyone else wants to call in, our number right there on screen, 615-671-9343. We'll try to get your call live on air if you're all right with that. And I think you can also just text that number. So if you just have a thought, you want to share it through that or not through the chat, that is also fine. I know some people watch their televisions. So if that's easier for you to text instead of leaving a chat, that also helps. Michael said, concrete is so tricky for temperatures. I mean, you called it, Michael. So Michael was in, I think, the stream last night for the Xfinity race, and I was worried about the tire not having fall off through practice. Justin Haley was out there for 75 laps and didn't have a ton of fall off. And Michael was like, just wait. the track during the race is going to be different. And I was still concerned. It was a good point, and I knew it was true, especially like how this spring, how we had to fall off with the cooler racetrack. It seemed like it might have been possible, but we really didn't see any evidence of that in practice. But he was 100% right. Michael, he's a dedicated guy. He also uploads to YouTube. He does a lot of sim racing content. He is like 100% about it. He races 100%. No assist, just all out. So good follow there. Good guy. Very smart guy. So whenever we need information, we can always rely on Michael. We'll go back to J-Ski here and see if they have any other stories. One of the craziest things that I heard. So during these court revelations, NASCAR had to reveal what they were going to do if the teams boycotted, if they didn't accept the last deal. And their idea was multi-class racing. They were going to have open next-gen cars first to fill the field, then Xfinity cars, then ARCA cars, and they were going to balance of power them. So we were going to have multi-class racing in the NASCAR Cup Series, whatever the replacement Cup Series would be. And they were also going to limit the field to 30 drivers. So that would have been a wild alternate history. Imagine what NASCAR 25, the game, would have looked like if we had Xfinity cars racing Cup cars, racing ARCA cars. That would have been pure insanity. Pure insanity. And they were going to try to bring in Xfinity drivers into the Cup Series the next season. It was definitely a wild plan. It's probably better off that it didn't go that way, but something has to change with the way money is shelled out for NASCAR. The tracks make too much money, I think, from the TV deal. NASCAR as a sanctioning body makes too much money as a part of the deal, and the teams are just left to fight for themselves. It's not like that in any other league. They have a revenue sharing model across the NBA, across NFL. It needs to go to a league, a commissioner, and a team type operation. NASCAR wants to own the sport. That's what they want. They already own most of the tracks. They want to own the teams. They own the rights to the Gen 7 car. So if NASCAR and the teams ever came to a disagreement, a boycott, a period where they would go on strike, the Cup teams can't get together and go race the Gen 7 somewhere else. NASCAR owns the rights to that car. And I think that was a big part of them going to this Gen 7 car, was NASCAR locking down more control. Because before, if they wanted to, the teams could have split off and run that Gen 6 car anywhere else they wanted to, if they wanted to go in a boycott. So, there's a lot coming out with these court documents. I also saw, it may have been public knowledge before, but Stephen O'Donnell's email address was leaked as a part of these court documents. It may have been public already, but it's S. O'Donnell. If anyone wants to send Stephen O'Donnell a strongly worded email, there you go. It's out in the public now. So, overall, an absolutely crazy a week. This is another crazy story. Let me pull this up for you guys. I hope this doesn't result in Rockingham closing down, but the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation looking into grant money use at Rockingham Speedway. That's scary. A lot of times when money or funding falls out, sometimes there's embezzlement, sometimes there's money laundering involved. Hopefully this isn't another one of those cases, because Rockingham is a fun track. I'm glad it's back, and I'm a little worried because they are looking to sell it, and I don't think they've come to an agreement yet. They want to sell it to another promoter that has more money to fix the track up to Cup standards. And I haven't heard much movement on that. And now, with this investigation, that may put Rockingham's future in jeopardy. So, a little worried about that. Yeah, as far as our Xfinity race, Eric Almirola taking the win. Pretty wild. Lane Riggs taking the win in the Craftsman Truck Series. He definitely seems like a future winner. Corey Heim, having a great season, falling short, luck not going his way in the truck race. But Lane Riggs, going out and taking that win. Scott Riggs' son, So it's good to see him do well. From all accounts, it seems like Lane and his dad were solid dudes. So you like to see that. You like to see the good guy win. All right, guys. If that's it for you guys, if we're not going to get any other call-ins, I do appreciate the one we got. It was a great call. We will wrap things up here shortly. Crazy race. Christopher Bell taking home the win. Good for Bell. You know, he had a really rapid start to the season. 3 wins. Back to back to back. And then a quiet summer stretch. And he's shown flashes here and there, but really just hasn't had that whole race consistent speed. Hasn't been able to close at the end. And this race was the opposite. He slowly worked his way up and, you know, ran better in the final stage and was in the right position, on the right strategy, at the right time. And if the caution hadn't come out, Keselowski probably wins. If we're in any other race car, Keselowski probably wins on that last lap bump and run. Beer 30 said, there's so many ways they can cheat. You got to close the gap. That's how it works. Yeah, I mean, that's it. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And NASCAR is definitely probably one of the best cases of that. It's all about bending the rules and finding the advantages where you can get them. And the advantages are smaller than ever. This field is so competitive, and this next-gen car is very near a spec car, especially now that they're not making their own body panels. They're not fabricating their own cars or chassis, all that stuff. They buy them from NASCAR. It's taken a lot out of the team's hands. So, yeah, I mean, it was an interesting race. Definitely glad Goodyear brought the tire they did. Denny Hamlin was worried that it was going to be a Indianapolis-type situation, but we did make it through the race. NASCAR did release an extra set of tires, so good on them. Good on Goodyear for being prepared. And let's hope New Hampshire's a good race. I've been pretty harsh on New Hampshire personally. I'm not a huge fan of New Hampshire as a track. I'm not, you know, super impressed about the type of racing it puts on. But the good thing is it is kind of a weatherproof track. So we do... I believe we can run wet weather tires if the track is damp. So that's a good thing. It does provide us, you know, some more cushion on getting the race in if there's weather. And even if there's not, allegedly the racing has been better the last few years. I'm biased. I don't like New Hampshire, but if the racing is good, the racing is good. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe before the race this week, we'll look over the average finishes. I can just find them here. See if I can find the average finishes for New Hampshire. Take a look at next week. All right, driver averages at New Hampshire. It's a shame Josh Berry missed out. Josh Berry, it looks like he is the best average finish. Recent races at New Hampshire. So this is with the next gen car. This is a very important stat to look at, not just the overall average finish, but specifically this one. So here we go. This is our average finish. First, Josh Berry. Average finish of 3rd. He's only had 1 race there. But, I mean, good average finish. It's a shame he got eliminated. Thank you, Beer 30. Thank you so much. Mike H said progressive banking creates more drama too. It definitely can. Definitely can. I'm glad the top groove didn't come in. I am very glad it didn't come in because I prefer the bottom feeding Bristol. But the problem is that unless the car in front of you was already a little upset, the bump and run really wasn't super effective. You kind of had to get to their left rear to make it work. But it definitely felt more like a traditional Bristol race, and I like to see it. But when the bottom groove and the top groove are equal, that is entertaining. But once the top groove becomes the dominant line, it becomes very difficult to pass. So I'm glad that didn't happen. Kevin Harvick and Truex are retired, so their positions don't count. So Kyle Larson has the next highest average finish with 3 races completed. Is a average finish of 7th. Next, we have John Hunter Nemechek with only 1 race. 5th, Chase Briscoe 6th. So next week, Chase Briscoe may once again get a good win. It seems like he's really good at these flat oval tracks. You know, Phoenix, if somehow Chase Briscoe makes it to that final round, look for Chase Briscoe. That is one of his better tracks. And it's a shame Alex Bowman never got a shot at the final round, because he's also another driver where Phoenix is one of his better tracks. Anyway, Kurt Busch also retired, so he's no longer included in this list. Then we have Christopher Bell, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Ross Chastain, Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace. So that's a look at just some of our top average finishers. A lot of these guys don't race anymore. Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., Kurt Busch. So you can completely eliminate those guys. And this is kind of our top 10 back to, you know, like Ross Chastain. Waltrip with his 10 Bristol wins in a row is insane. Definitely. And he did it back, you know, when it was that bottom feeding track. And I believe a lot of his, if not maybe all of those, was on asphalt Bristol. But, I mean, definitely insane. And with the cars they had back in those days, he was a man. He was a man and a half to get it done there. And I think, what, 17 wins overall at Bristol? Like, several. So, super impressive. So that's just a little look into how they may finish next week. Let's go ahead and look at the results from the last time they raced here. New Hampshire results. 2024. So they raced it in June in 2024. So the dates don't line up very well. But first, Christopher Bell. Second, Chase Briscoe. Third, Josh Berry. Fourth, Kyle Larson. Fifth, Chris Buescher. Sixth, Tyler Reddick. Seventh, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Crazy. Good finish for him. Eighth, John Hunter Nemechek. Ninth, Irrelevant. 10th, Ross Chastain. And 11th, Ryan Preece. So just another look, another little bit of insight into how next week's race might go. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for us, guys. We had a great race stream. We had like 30,000 people or something in there. And we have about 2,000 that have been in here in this post-race. We had a great call during the stream, so I really appreciate that. We will keep doing this, so if you guys want to call in next week, just be ready for that. And if we don't have any last-second call-ins, it's good to see you, Mike H, Beer 30, The King is Dead, The Republic, Danny Boom, Denny Hamlin fan, JK Speed, Wade Banks, Picasso D'Amelio. Good to see you guys. Patty Hassenfeld. I'm sorry, I missed your chat. I didn't see that at the time. The King's Dead 15. I don't know if I thanked you already. And Luke Carter. Good to see all you guys. Thank you to all our lurkers. You guys make up the majority. The silent majority. Literally the silent majority. That'll do it for our stream this week. Next week I have New Hampshire, so we'll be live on Saturday, most likely for... Yeah, we'll probably be live next week for the truck race. Just go ahead and see... Truck race, EJP 175 11. So yeah, we'll probably be live for the truck race next Saturday. So look for us then. And then on Sunday, what time is the race? At 1. Oh, we'll probably be live for that. If not, we'll be live for post race. So look for us next week. I can't wait. And if you guys are new around here and you're interested in watching this throughout the season and even on into next season, go ahead and subscribe. And we do all kinds of stuff. We do the gaming streams, I'll do travel content. I've been doing this for almost 14 years. So out of my over 1,000 videos, there's probably one you'd enjoy. So we'd be glad to have you. We've definitely been growing a lot more lately. And it was just a great day for streaming, great day for racing, great day for football. And, you know, good weekend overall. Hope you guys had a good one. And hope you guys have a good Sunday. You guys are able to make the most of it. It is a Sunday without NASCAR racing, but you will have NFL football to accompany you, so you're not alone. But until next time, ladies and gents, it's been an honor. It's been a privilege. And hope to see you guys in the next one.